Can a non-technical person take a Claude Code subscription, an idea, and turn it into profitable SaaS? I'm Ilya, and in this series I'll try to answer this question. This is not a step-by-step tutorial, but more of a journal where I'll document my journey from coming up with an idea to building and launching a real product with Claude Code. Along the way, I'll share my full setup, my development structure, and every tip, hack, and lesson I pick up while building with Claude Code. Not a toy demo, but something users will pay for. So if you ever thought, I will build something with AI, but I'm not a coder, this series is for you. Let's go. Alright, so idea for this project is extremely simple. I'm building a platform for small and medium businesses for customer support management in social media with AI. So on step one, the customer connects to the platform via their socials like IG, WhatsApp, or TikTok. And at this stage already, for example, if the customer connects with Instagram, the platform goes through all the posts through bio and then reads all the messages. And with all this information, it analyzes the business and builds the profile for business. Then on step two, which is optional, the customer can add additional information like their corporate website or PDF file with information about their business, or just explain some details about their business like their services or products and customers and ways of handling the customers in free text. And then the business gets the AI agent that is ready to answer to all the customer inquiries. So while this whole concept with AI agent for customer support is not new and it's quite crowded, this particular implementation I haven't seen on the Western market. So the key difference is that it just takes only 5 minutes to set up. Just a couple of clicks can be done on the smartphone. But the difference is that you don't get the stupid yes/no bot or access to platform like ManyChat where you have to actually build the bot and figure out how everything works. But you essentially get ready AI agent out of the box, and all it takes to do essentially is just to connect one of your socials. So even if you have a lot of conversations in IG and you connect your IG, the agent is essentially 90% done. You just have to maybe do some corrections like along the way how it answers, and that's pretty much it. So super fast and simple to set up, fully automated, and yeah. So let's see what I have built so far at this point. Alright, so this is the first screen of the app. As you can see, the app is already live, it's already deployed, and we can connect with Instagram here. So as you can see, there is no support for WhatsApp and TikTok yet, and the reason for this is that we're building MVP, so we're building only the most important crucial features first to roll out the product as fast as possible to the customers and get some customer feedback and improve upon this feedback. That's why there is only support for Instagram at this point. But it works, so it works through MetaGraph API. So let's press continue with Instagram and see what happens. So it doesn't ask me for a password and username because I'm already signed into Instagram in another tab. I already connected with my IG to the platform, so it didn't ask me now to share my information such as bio, posts, and messages. So instead it asks me like, would you like to continue sharing information? But okay, let's press allow and continue. Perfect. So now we see the first welcoming screen. The screen briefly explains what is this thing, what does it do. So replies to your DMs 24/7, 5-minute setup, chats like a human, keeps you in control. Fantastic. So let's create our first AI agent. Okay, so now we have these 4 tabs that you find familiar from the idea that I just previously explained. So first one is scan my Instagram. That's probably the most interesting one. It reads the posts, the comments under the posts, also bio. Also, it's supposed to read messages, the DM messages. It doesn't do it yet because there was some unexpected roadblock, well, because of Meta. So to read messages, you have to have Meta advanced access. And for this, you have to pass the app review, which I'm going to do just a bit later. I just haven't done it yet. But yeah, so that's the first step. Second step, we can upload PDF just with general information about the business. Then we can also pass the URL for website, for the corporate website, and the agent will crawl the website and get all necessary information. or we can just simply explain in our own words what does this business do, what kind of products it offers, what kind of clients it serves, etc. So we're not gonna test all of them on video, so we don't waste time. I mean, you just have to trust me on this one, they work, but we're gonna do the most interesting one, and that's scan my Instagram. Okay, so now it's reading the sources, so checking the IG, building a knowledge base, and configuring the agent. And yeah, that was quite fast. So now it got all the information from the IG account about the business. And now we have to choose the template. What kind of agent are we building? Is it a personal assistant or support agent or sales manager? Let's go with support agent. So as you can see, here is the template. It's a basic prompt, and it's automatically generated. So your support agent for Volvox chat, and we can edit this prompt here. So for example, say it professional but warm and friendly. Press save. And fantastic, it's saved now. So let's go to the knowledge base tab. So here we can see that we got one source of information, which is Instagram scan. So it scanned 6 posts and 0 DM threads. Well, with the DM threads, it didn't scan because of the app review issue, but 6 posts. So let's check. So yeah, this profile has precisely 6 posts. Great. Here we can also upload some additional information as a PDF. And in this tab, we can test the agent, how it replies right now. So let's press what they offer. Okay, so Volvox chat is an AI agent that replies blah blah blah. Okay, and it costs, for example, 49 euros per month flat. So let's check. Yeah, it got this information from here, from this post regarding 40 euros per month. So that's how it works. That's how it looks like right now, and it's mobile friendly, so we can set it up easily on smartphone. And well, I mean, right now it's kind of like ugly and very simple UI, and well, for example, in knowledge base you can't upload a website anymore or explain in your own words, and those are just the limitations of, let's say, a very raw MVP. So the idea is that I build the project in stages and I show every stage. So that's why it's not the final product. It's just a, let's say, okay, like brief demo of the final result. And yeah, so in the next chapter, I will show you the structure, how exactly I built this app, what kind of tech stack I used, and I will share also my Claude setup, my CLAUDE.md file, and other useful tips and hacks that I learned along working on this project. Some of them are super useful. They will save you a lot of time and tokens, and will help you ship actual products without bugs that actual users will use. So let's go to the next chapter. All right, so this is the build flow and structure for this app. So as you can see, the whole build is split into phases. We start with the foundation phase, where you connect all the necessary things like database and then hosting, and then yeah, you just build the base that you can work on. And then you start with the core features. Each feature, big feature, is a separate phase. So for example, authentication with Instagram, then teaching the agent with PDFs, website, text, IG profile, and then we got like a couple of big features for, again, improving the agent, so correcting the answers and doing some test questions. And then the next phase is to go live on real DMs, so we actually test the agent in IG, then the payment wall with Stripe, and then the MVP is ready and we launch it, plus we get meta approval. So here I can say two important things. First, you have to build your product in phases. So don't just try to one-shot it unless you build some very simple landing page. Try to actually split your product in features, like big features, and build them separately. So you build a feature, you test it, it satisfies you, perfect. You continue to the next feature. That's one thing. Second, you have to understand what you build, when you build it, and why. Because, for example, you can see that phase E, go live on real DMs, has like two phases that are not built yet. So green ones are built and the gray ones are not. So we have phase C and phase D before phase E. But actually what I realized is that phase E should be built as soon as possible, because once I have phase E, this is the feature required for Meta app review. We should prove to Meta why do I need access to DM messages, and to prove it I need to build this feature. So it makes sense to build it, then submit the app for Meta app review. which takes, by the way, from a few days to a couple of weeks. And in the meantime, while they're reviewing the app, we can continue working on other phases and finalizing the product. So build it in phases. Don't try to one-shot it. If you say, Claude, build me a $1 million SaaS, make no mistakes, you can get absolutely wild, unexpected result, maybe in the best sense, maybe in the worst, but the result 100% will be unexpected. If you build in phases, you actually know what to expect and what do you actually build, and try to understand why you're doing what you are doing. So this is the tech stack I use for this particular project. So GitHub for version control, and well, this is the place where the code of the product lives and where all the backups are. Next.js is the framework that handles both the front end and back end of the project. So all the screens that you see and the logic behind them. Vercel is the hosting, so where the product is deployed and is served to the public. Supabase as database storage for all the client's data, and Claude plus OpenAI, so Claude as processing engine for the messages and OpenAI for text embeddings. And ingest is the tool that runs the slow jobs in the background. So for example, if you upload a PDF file and then reload the page, the processing of this PDF doesn't get broken because it processes in the background by ingest, so splits into chunks into the text embeddings by OpenAI, and then the process is complete without breaking down. Metagraph API to do all these shenanigans with the Instagram and WhatsApp, and Stripe as the paywall. So unless well, this kind of stack is quite versatile. You can build a lot of things with it, but doesn't mean that my particular stack is suitable for your own project. You might have your own completely different tech stack, but just also one important lesson, you have to understand your tech stack. So you have to understand what technologies do you use and why do you use them, because if you give everything to AI, you can have, again, unexpected wild result with not so much high quality. So keep in mind that you have to understand your tech stack, understand what technologies do you use and why do you use them. And now we finally arrive to the most interesting part, Claude Code tips. Okay, so tip number one, use some version control tool. I suggest you using GitHub. So just go to github.com, create an account there, then go to Claude Code and type Claude Bro. From now on, we use GitHub with all our projects. Please help me set it up, and it will help you set it up. So why do we need version control tool? Because without it, your code is very vulnerable. So for example, you've been working on the project for the past couple of days and you like everything, but then you want to change some small feature or some small design element, and you ask Mighty Claude to fix it, but essentially it doesn't fix it, it just breaks the whole page or the whole feature, or just deletes everything. So if you don't have version control tool, you have to go now back and forth and waste your time and tokens on trying to get back to the state it was before it got broken. But with version control tool, you just roll back to the previous commit, your latest previous version, like backup version of your code when it was not broken. So it's very simple procedure and saves you a lot of time and nerves and tokens. I also suggest you add this thing in your CLAUDE.md in the global.claude folder, these 3 lines. Don't bother typing from the screen, it will be all in my free Skool community. So it's kind of like guardrail, so Claude doesn't just do everything by itself, but it asks you every time when you are done with the feature. So for example, here I've been working on a feature and the feature is done. So now it asks me like, okay, so this is done. Do you want to commit and push? And until I say yes, it will not do this. So when I say yes, it says it, bam, and it's committed. Okay, so it successfully pushed. There was some push failure for some reason. I think it dropped SSH keys, but then it got it from macOS keychain and all good. But so pushed, commit successfully. So now we have another backup of our code, which we can see here. So all these commits, and this is the latest one. Tip number 2, environment setup, how to do work fast. So first things first, let's enable allow dangerously skip permissions. So to do this, we go to VS Code. I personally use VS Code as a development environment, and I highly suggest you do the same. It's a really great software. So here on Mac, we press Command Shift X, and on Windows, I think it will be Win Shift X or Control Shift X, and well, Win Shift X most likely. And here we press double click on Claude Code for VS Code plugin. Here on the gear icon, settings, and put the check mark where allow dangerous skip permissions. So this thing will accelerate your development process really well. Otherwise, you would have to manually approve every single bash comment. And there is only one caveat, because it says there is a word, there is even the word in the name of the feature, dangerously. So in a moment, I will show you how to put some additional guardrails on dangerous skip permissions so you don't by accident wipe out your whole system. And let's check. So now we have it here, bypass permissions mode. That's the mode, that's it. So we have it installed. Second thing, I highly suggest you to use some voice to text tool. I, for example, use Glido. I've been playing around with it for about 2 weeks, and well, it says like 16 hours already saved me. Well, if that's true, that's insane amount of time, but overall this thing saves a lot of time. So instead of just like typing, you just press the F button, and then you can dump everything instead of typing by hands. And for 20 bucks, I would say this product has a lot of value. Well, I mean, 20 bucks and 16 hours saved, like what are we talking about? Let's check how it works. So here we just press the F button, and I don't know, some simple comment like, yo bro, are you ready to do some stuff today? Say just yes or no and explain your mood to me. Perfect. Now in the meantime, we can go to some other things, like for example, check the latest AI news, and bam, we got notification. This is the third thing. So this is a custom-made notification from VS Code and Claude Code. So there are some third-party extensions that you can use to install and get these notifications, but I personally try to avoid third-party apps as much as possible and install as less garbage on my computer as possible. So this is custom-made thing. I also attach the file how to make it in my free Skool community, and it's really great stuff because, well, you can while you just even if, okay, let's say you have like 3 agents running in parallel, you run these agents, but in the meantime you can actually go to your platform and think about what do you work next, what do you improve. So great things. And last but not least, I mentioned that it's possible to put some guardrails on dangerous skip permissions. So for this, let's go here, and yeah, here I have a file. It's actually already prepared for giving it to you guys in the Skool assets. So this file basically creates a script that runs every time before every time Claude runs the bash command. So when Claude wants to run a bash command, like the terminal command, this small script runs and checks what is inside this command. And if there is some dangerous stuff, like for example rm-rf, which can, for example, if it's executed on your home directory, it's gonna wipe out your home directory. So with this kind of command and admin access, which Claude has, you can literally delete everything on your computer. So to avoid this kind of catastrophic scenario, this small script runs every time, checks for these dangerous commands, and even though with dangerous skip permissions, Claude can do whatever it wants, with this script, it forces Claude to stop, and Claude has to ask you for permission, like if it's okay to run this command or not. So this is a small thing, but it's not airtight, like 110% guarantee, but it's still 99% improvement over just running dangerous skip permissions on the pure luck, because, well, setup with this kind of tools is very important. Otherwise, you might have some catastrophic result. Tip number 3, build in phases and use plan mode. So how does it work? Let's go to VS Code, Claude Code, and here we have to choose the plan mode. So this mode allows you to essentially plan the whole app before building it, and it saves long-term a lot of tokens for you, a lot of time, and a lot of your sweat. So it's always best to start the project in the plan mode, and then once you have this plan confirmed, then you continue building the project. So once we're in the plan mode, just dump whatever you have on your mind, what to explain in great details, what kind of project you have, and what kind of, if you have some screenshots or some competitor products that you like, you can also add all this information here and explicitly mention that mighty Claude, let's build this project in phases. So we're not gonna try to one-shot it, but we're gonna build it instead in phase, so feature by feature. For example, okay, Claude, let's build a project, AI Digest, where an app where I will be able to send a URL of the article I find interesting, and you will scrape, the app will scrape this article, get all the details, and then kind of prepare a daily digest summary of these articles for me that will be sent over Telegram. Let's build this product in phases, so prepare a plan where you will explicitly state what kind of tech stack are you planning to use, and what are the first features we will build, and what are the last, and why. So now once we got all this stuff here, we can just press enter and see Claude prepare the plan for us. Along the way of building this plan, it will ask you a couple of questions. So for example, here it's asking me about hosting, and okay, let's choose the model version, and then it will ask me some ingest UX, instant summary plus Q. Okay, that sounds reasonable. And digest time, let's go for 8 a.m. in the morning. So now when you got the plan, the idea is to go through it and try to understand it, try to understand the technology stack, try to check what kind of stages it proposes and at what order, see if AI missed something or messed something up, because, well, if you don't read it and just like press yes and auto accept and start building it, you're essentially playing a slot machine. You're just like building some random app that you don't even know what kind of specifications it have, so you just, the result can be absolutely unpredictable. So go into details and try to understand what you're building, why you're building. This way you can have predictable result, and you can actually make the most out of your idea, make the app that you want to make, you know, not just like some random stuff proposed by AI. Tip number 4, context management. So the general rule is that try to stay within 30-40% of the actual context window of the model. So for example, if let's say you use Opus 4.8 and in the window you can do this /context command to check the actual context usage for this particular chat. And here I'm at 14%, so it's like a bit less than 140,000 tokens, because the model has 1 million tokens context window, and well, there is still some way to go, so it's all good. But in general, if you stay within this 30-40%, a few things happen. First, you get much higher quality output because the model doesn't hallucinate that much, and second, you save a lot on tokens. So essentially your development costs are going down, because every time you send a message to LLM, it's not just this one last message, it's all the previous messages you sent in the same chat, plus all the answers that the model sent to you in the same chat, plus this last message. So all of this gets packaged together as one big messy prompt, and then it's sent to LLM, and LLM processes it and sends you the reply. So if there is a lot of like hundreds of thousands of tokens going on back and forth in the same chat, your token usage goes up, you hit the limit very often, or if you use API, the development costs of your app go through the roof. And now the question, how do you split the chats? Because, for example, I mean, the app can take much more than even 1 million tokens. Like, how do you move to the next chat? And there comes the next tip. Tip number 5, keep a handover document. So the example of this document you can see on the right side of the screen. It might not be that readable, but it's not for you, it's actually for Claude. So there is some information about the uncommitted changes, then the tasks in priority order, the security audit. This is, by the way, the example of my handover document. There is some stuff removed from here for the security purposes, but otherwise it's pretty much how it looks in my project. Some fixes applied, and then the handover for a specific phase, and the table with the summary of what is going on right now. and what works in production. So essentially, by the way, don't bother copying this from the screen. The template for this handover document will be also in my free Skool community, so you can just download it there and send it to your Claude instance. But how it works is that every time I'm done with the feature development, or I'm just reaching my limit of 30-40% of context window in the current instance, the current chat, I just type something like, Claude, I want to move to a new instance, let's wrap it up, just please update the handover document, what we did, and what the next instance should know, so we can continue with the work. And then it will literally update the handover document, and it sometimes even drop the text like, yeah, just to drop it here, so the model doesn't waste time and tokens like on anything else. And you copy this text, you open the new chat, new instance, you drop it, and then you continue the work exactly from the same spot where you left. So this way you save tokens, you save time, and you save your resources. Tip number 6, verify, don't trust. What does it mean? So when you work on your project and the Claude says like, okay, this is fixed now, your position should be, do not trust it right away, but actually go and check it, like test if this feature was fixed. So you go to your app, you do the action to check this particular feature that was just fixed, and if it is, great, you can move on. If it's not, then you tell the Claude, bro, don't bullshit me, the feature is still broken, let's fix it. So verify, don't trust. Okay, so tip number 7, use sub-agents. I make the most use out of 4 sub-agents, and the first one is code reviewer. So this agent looks at the code with the fresh eyes without any prior context. So it doesn't know what's the code supposed to do and what are we working on. It just receives the code and has to take a look at it and find issues and report it back to the main agent. By the way, all these 4 agents will be available in my free Skool community, so you can just go there and download it and use it for your own projects. Second one is quality assurance agent, which creates and runs the test for the freshly developed code. So also the idea is to find and report all the bugs to the main agent. Then the research agent, this one is particularly useful because it does the research for it does research without cluttering the main agent's context window, which means like the main chat where we are working. So for example, I still have this issue with the DM messages in my app, and I was trying to figure out if something is developed wrong or there is some other problem. And to understand this, I had to go and get as much information about the methods documentation as possible. So I tell my main agent to spin off this research sub-agent. Goes and gets as much information as possible on this topic, and then instead of pulling all this information back to the main agent's context window, it writes a summary, like a very short summary, and sends it to the main agent. So this way we keep our context intact and we get the answers we need. And last but not least, security auditor agent also does the job. It tries to find all the security vulnerabilities, flag them, and report them to the main agent, and then we fix it. So again, it doesn't give you they'll say 110% airtight guarantee that your code will be bug-free and vulnerabilities-free, but all of these small steps, they help you get to this like 90, 95, 99% of success, which I believe is enough to publish your app and make it live for the general public. Tip number 8, keep a pre-live checklist. So what does it exactly mean? So while you are developing the app, you will use a lot of third-party services like for database management or for payment or for some other identification, whatever. So there will be a lot of private information, like for instance, like API keys, secret keys that you're gonna be bouncing like here and there, like adding them to the chat, etc. So I mean, obviously for me it makes the most sense because I'm guys showing you my screen here, so something can get leaked by accident, like for example some API key or some secret information that should not be displayed to the public. So in order to prevent any kind of issues during the public launch, like even in beta phase, I created this pre-live checklist. So example of this pre-live checklist you can see on the right side of my screen. So essentially it's a file where I made also a task for Claude. So when I add some kind of like new key or some sensitive information, the Claude adds a line to this pre-live checklist that says like, yeah, so we will need to rotate this key, or we will need to update this information. So once the app is developed and ready for public launch, I will have to go through every line in this file and then just rotate everything. So update all the information in the code, all the keys. So if something got leaked over the course of development, that's fine, because on public launch everything will be updated. So these are some extra security measures, just like to be on the safe side. Tip number 9, treat Claude as an engineer, not as a company. While we're heading the way where AI will build probably profitable businesses and maybe even will take over us in the near future, right now I strongly believe that AI is not there yet. So I personally use Claude as an engineer, so I have a vision myself for the app. I have an idea. I know how precisely I want the things to be built, and I know how I want them to work. So in this case, I'm kind of like supervise Claude and tell it what to do, and I just don't need to type the code. I don't need to code. It does it for me. So, but still, I test every phase and I check what it's built. I don't trust it that much. So if it says it's fixed, I have to double check if it's actually fixed. I don't trust its requirements and specifications. So as I mentioned multiple times, I'm trying to go through all the parts of the process and try to understand what is happening and why it is happening. So it's your choice. You might try to one-shot some kind of an app, and might try to one-shot like an app every single day and try to make something out of it. But my advice still, if you have an idea and you want to implement it, you have to still do your due diligence and do your own work, and yeah, use Claude for this. That's a fantastic tool, but it's still a tool. It's not a one-shot business generation machine. For some, it might be. Maybe I'm wrong, but well, that's my opinion. If you made it this far, congrats, hopefully you learned something new and this was an interesting episode. I just wanted briefly at the end to cover again what will be in the free Skool community. So all my 4 sub-agents will be there, then build in phases document that explains Claude how to actually build in phases, then my global CLAUDE.md, Handover document, pre-live checklist, safety hook setup for setting the guardrails for dangerous skip permissions, and it will all come with the README file. So you can open this README file and you can either done installation manually, the instructions are here below, or if you don't want, you just download the whole folder and drop it into any of your projects, open this project, and in the project just run this prompt in your Claude instance, and it will install everything automatically, so you don't waste time on this. So this is it for the first episode. Right now on agenda is to build the DM functionality so I can submit my app to Meta App Review, and in the meantime, while the review is happening, I will continue building other features. So if you want to follow my journey and you're interested to see what kind of progress I'll make next time, hit like and subscribe, and the next episode coming next week. So thanks for your time and see you.